Hey people, it's Friday again already. The 27th of May, going into a Memorial Day weekend. Man, the days just fly, they really do. Here with another update, and got some records from Dave Wayne. Thank you. El Bicho Feo, I think is the name of his channel, which I haven't checked out in a while. So I want to share those, but I also got lucky, and well, not lucky, but a local emporium thrift store, consignment store called the Imaginarium. One of its locations has to close, the one in Benson, because their rent has been doubled. So consequently, I happened to be in Benson Wednesday because I had a show, and walked in, just look at the records. I've been, sometimes we'll buy records there, but I've complained for a long time that their used records are overpriced and a lot of them in bad shape. Well, I wish I had found out sooner, but because they're closing, they were having this big $5 bag sale where you fill up a bag for $5 and it's yours. And so when I went to the record section, it had been gone through pretty well, and another indication that I was too late was another well-known record collector, Mike Garber, was there. And so I said, well, if he beat me here, there's nothing left. Well, since it was a situation where you can basically, just fill a garbage bag with records and pay $5 for it, I went ahead and went through the dregs of what was left and took what I could, and so that I'll show you some of that today. But I also have to just forewarn you that I am a person who is aware of his moods and his cycles to a degree, and that sometimes, depending on where I'm at, I may say some things. By being honest, I'm going to be honest, and yet there'll be times when it feels like I know what I'm going to say is going to be caustic, or that it will it's going to bug someone. But I'm just giving you a disclaimer. I already know that I have some things to say that can be perceived as ungrateful. So here we go, and you'll see, some of you will see what I mean. Hopefully you folks who know me will understand I'm not being ungrateful. I'm being honest and want to say what I gotta say, okay? So Dave Wayne, drummer, musician who I've never met in real life, lives in Santa Fe. Wonderful collector. His collection is insane from what I've seen from videos. I heard about him through Chris Cole originally. Yeah, your collection. Yeah, I'm jealous of your collection. I want all those rare, obscure records that you have. Thank you for being kind and sending me some records. I'll tell you what, you sent me a couple things. You sent me one thing that I'm real happy to get. I just got to stay honest, all right? I wish I could get some of those really cool records that I see other people get. That's the one thing I'm saying that may strike others wrong. Ooh, he shouldn't say that. I got to say it, people give records to one another all over. I do too when I can. And yeah, I'm jealous of what other people get. A lot of times I'll be thinking, why didn't he send that to me? Man, I want that rarity. I want that cool music. Okay? So, I got that out. It's, Dave, you're mature. You understand what I'm saying. Okay? So, the stuff that you sent me that I appreciate, and I'm going to do it like that, okay? Because I'm in a mood, all right? Okay? What you sent me that I appreciate, which is pretty much everything. The last thing I want to make a comment about, because it ties into the thrift store haul that I just made. So of the record you sent, the one that is the most interesting to me is this one by Bernd Conrad, Marilyn and the Whale. thanks for sending this to me. This is a, I've only just listened to a part of it. It's with a couple of different orchestras and jazz ensembles. The Maryland piece I started to listen to, where it's about Marilyn Monroe, and this is interesting listening and serious work, which I'm interested in. So this is very happy to add this to my collection, Dave. Thank you. Can always use more interesting stuff like that. You sent me 2 Flora Purim albums, 2 that I didn't have in my collection, Encounter and what's this one? Every Day, Every Night. And Flora Purim, vocalist, I believe from Brazil, in the jazz world, she's quite good. I do listen to Flora, and she has great players. So these are nice additions to my Flora collection. One of these I haven't played yet. This one I played, and it's, you know, it's the sort of thing that I'm interested in, things that are obscure. So thanks for sending this to me. It's Den Femte Nature Craften. It's some sort of German it sounds like it's like a play, or that this was the music to some sort of presentation where there's acting and stuff involved. So as a result, the musicians, and it goes through a variety of musical styles, okay? So in that sense, some of it is an interesting listen. As I've said, I don't speak a lot of different languages, so I don't speak German, don't know what it's about. Not all that interested. Just checked out the different passages of music. Some of the music is interesting. So this is kind of an interesting, you know, unusual album. Probably won't play it. It's just, oh, thank you, you know. Do you understand, Dave? Thank you just for thinking of me. Haven't played the Bautista yet. I'll get to this. Just, you know, it's one of those records that whenever I see it, these sort of covers, you know, artwork is important to me. And when I see it, it's like, I don't, you know, it might be good, but it's like, is this record, I think these records are to attract people. I haven't played this yet. I know he's a musician of note. I believe he's a percussionist. And I'll get to this. This one that you sent me, Dream Academy, is the sort of thing that, you know, yeah, you know, it's pop, and, you know, it's got a pretty cover, and compared to a lot of stuff that was on the radio at the time, it had a nice feel to it, you know. But this is the sort of thing that, you know, again, this is, they feel me, okay? You know what I'm saying? No. Dream Academy, me? No. 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 Okay? Yeah, that's, you know, it's an example of something that, okay, so let's go to the next phase, which is these records that I bought. I bought 2 bags. I went and got 1 bag for $5. Took it home, started going through it, and then realized there were some records that are doubles of what I own already, but they're sitting there, and it's like, I should just go and grab them for trade or to give to friends because I can get them so cheap. So I ended up going twice, spending $10 and getting 136 albums, a few 10 and 12-inch singles, mostly albums. That averages out to about 7 cents a record, which is about what I can afford. So I can't show you everything, and obviously, but I want to show you some of the stuff, okay? And I may have some more comments. Stuff just runs in and out of my head. So some of the records that I bought, because I was able to get them for next to nothing, and it's like, okay, well, now I can play it and see. There were a lot of records there where you see them all the time in thrift stores and dollar bins, and it's like, it's stuff that I know that I'm not interested in. I already know it. But now I went ahead and picked up some of the stuff for like 7 cents a piece, since it was all it was left. But also it's like, okay, well, now I can really find out what this sounds like. And in most of the cases I discovered, yeah, I know what I'd like, and why I'm not interested in this stuff. Here's one that I bought that was in really, really bad shape. I had to tape it up completely. And I remember when this band was happening, it was like there was a buzz, like maybe there was going to be something happen with this band, and it never quite gelled. Rachel. And this is Rachel number 2. And this is actually pretty good. Not American. It's straight ahead rock. What is interesting about this album is, again, see, they even got their own custom logo on the label. When you would see that was either an indication that the company thought maybe they had a hot property, or maybe their management was able to finagle and get the band's logo put on the record. But this, I'm trying to think of a band to compare them with, you know. But the one thing that I did notice is that they do a blues number on here, but they try really hard to play it different, knowing that they're not black blues men, so why try to fake it? And as a result, they come up with something kind of interesting, and I like that on here. Rachel 2. So let me just grab some of these. Like I said, for 7 cents a piece, I went ahead and bought stuff that I would never buy, and it's now taking up space in the house. We'll see where it ends up. Maybe it'll end up in the garbage. But this is the other thing I wanted to share, is that when people send me music, this is the geek in me, and it's the part of who I am. I have a lifelong ritual associated with record collecting and listening to music. That's why I like records. I like the physical act of getting the record, taking it out, putting it on the turntable, looking at it, poring over the information on the record. Another thing that has always been part of my ritual is when I buy used records is to immediately scrape the stickers off, kind of like a ritual of ownership. You know, you take the sticker off and now it's mine. And to this day, it's still something I really enjoy. It took me back, this bunch. It's been a long time since I've been able to get a big bunch of records. A lot of information in a short amount of time I'm trying to share. So it made me reflect on the fact of why in the past did I have so many rare, unusual, cool records that I just got rid of, that I regret now. And it's because, in part, that at times I got those records in large amounts, like 3 for $1 sales, or I've been able to find another sale where I was able to buy albums for 10 cents a piece and just bought hundreds. And so part of it is being caught up in the ritual of just opening and listening and discovering, not fully appreciating, okay? And so many things have slipped under my radar, or I wasn't ready for them, you know, and that was part of what was happening. I got them in bulk. That occurred to me as I was going through this bunch, okay? So the first thing that I'll show is a 12-inch single of a song that I like that I don't need, but again, why leave it? It's in perfect condition. 12-inch single for Twilight World by Swing Out Sister. I remember when this came on the, this was in the days of VH1 and MTV being cool, the end of the 80s, 87. I enjoyed the video and the ambience of this song, you know. It's slightly jazzy, kind of big city, kind of like, almost like maybe sophisticated, but kind of, you know, maybe cool. So I grabbed this. Here's one that again, it's like Deodato. I know that it's got that commercial sound that I'm not interested in, but I went ahead and grabbed it. Deodato, Nights of Fantasy. And it's well done, it's well played, but this music strikes me like it's like life has been scripted by someone, and everything is slightly fake. And it's like this music where Deodato started, and how cool this music could be, compared to this product that seems to be made for some sort of social situation. The legs, duh, okay. So I don't think I take myself too seriously, but I know that this does not represent my way of looking at the world, and so that's why I've always passed this stuff up. And sure enough, when I play it, it's like almost like phony music, you know. It's like a soundtrack to pick up women by. Okay, is that a diss? Yeah, it is. What a waste of music. What a waste of sound waves. And look at the world we live in. Look at the results. Look at how cheap life is, okay? This has something to do with it, people. Here's one where I already have a copy, but I couldn't stand to leave it, okay? So this, I think I have a friend who needs a copy. The Geese and the Ghost by Anthony Phillips, from Genesis, his first solo album, which includes contributions by Mike Rutherford and Phil Collins. This is a beautiful Genesis album, and this is one that I see often used. It's so delicate and beautiful. Again, I'm making a social commentary. I think the reason why you find albums like this used so often is because of the cheapness and the fast pace of life, where music of this depth, quality, and requiring attention, it's like it's too much to ask of the average person in this shallow bullshit world. This is music of high quality, good for you, music that's good for you, like good food, okay? Here's something I bought that I just, again, I won't play it again. The Beginning of the President, Orson Welles. It's one of those spoken word comedy records that for some reason used to actually sell. I put a little of this on, and it's completely out of date as far as what it's talking about. There's some synthesizer work in the background, which maybe when I was, if I had been younger, could have been enough to keep me listening for a while, but now this is just, it was the cover. I said, okay, I've been seeing this forever in the bins. I know what I'm getting, but I'll pick it up for 7 cents. All right. Here's one which is, well, they were always good, and there's a couple songs in here I like. The Cowsills, Captain Sad and His Ship of Fools, the band that the Partridge Family TV show was based on. You know, I recently watched a documentary about the Cowsills, where they speak as adults, and they just tell the true story of the ripoff, the continual ripoff that goes on in the entertainment industry, and how they got jacked. Of course they got jacked, and they don't care who you are or if you're children. They exploit the shit out of you, which is what happened to these guys, okay? This album is good, and it has that touch of what I call paisley pop, because of the times where they would do things to be with the times. Psychedelia was going on. So this actually is Make the Music Flow. Could have been by the Millennium, okay? You folks that know pop psych, you know the Millennium. Then they had a hit on here, Indian Lake, which I played, and it just brought back memories. The other thing that's interesting about getting these used records from my community here is these are real records from people's real collections. People who they bought the music because it was part of their life, and they put their names in and stuff. And several of these records, I know these people's names, not that they were my friends, but this is my neighborhood, you know. I recognize these last names. Cool. Here's one I thought I had already, and that I was going to just get an extra copy of, but I looked and it turns out I didn't have this. Billy Cobham, Life and Times. A good Billy Cobham album, too. Great drummer, born in Jamaica. First came to my attention through the Mahavishnu Orchestra, then found out that he goes back and had played drums for James Brown on a couple of his really good records. This is a great album. A great collection, addition to my Billy Cobham collection. I've got a few, about 10 Billy Cobham albums. That's why I thought I had this. Here's one that's kind of light jazz, the sort of thing I always overlook or just leave because they're good players, but there's this aspect of pandering to an audience, like making it easy to listen to, whereas it could have taken it someplace even deeper. Martin Lund Landscapes. So the cover looked promising, and it actually does have some passages that are good, but it has good players on it too. Alex Acuna, Nathan East, Larry Carlton. I can also tell what the music's going to sound like by the names, and sure enough, it's in that kind of easy listening jazz sort of area. But these are good players, so there's at least one interesting atmospheric track on here. Here's one I've never been interested in. The cover is just like, this is, to me, is a terrible cover. Charlie Lines. It's just a bad cover, you know. Again, using a woman as an object. I'm human, so yes, I see she's got great legs and stuff. But whenever I see this album, I thought to myself, this has just got to be terrible because of this terrible cover. And it's not what I'm interested in. These guys can play. They're making middle-of-the-road pop rock, just as I assumed it would be. I got through about a third of the first side of this, and it's just exactly what I knew it is. This music is not of interest to me. These people put it together well, but it's product, and it's not interesting, not even cool, to my opinion. Here's one I had to tape together. Another one of those bands that is in the vein of Americana rock, like the band and Bob Dylan, which I got really tired of right away and don't listen to much of. You know, it's not interesting to me. It's very it's like I live in the Midwest, so I live around a bunch of Midwestern people, and so they're not interesting to me. And that's what this music is like. C-Train, but again, for 7 cents, okay, I'll go ahead and get a copy. I had to tape it together so I can listen to it. And it starts off like I thought it would. They're doing a Lowell George song, Willin', Gimme Weed, Whites and Wine. It's got that twangy sort of Americana sound that is just kind of boring to me, you know. But I was finally able to get it, bring it home, and put the needle on it and play it, which for one time doing it was worth it. It was worth 7 cents just to be able to do it one time, okay? Probably never play this album again. And now that I've said it, I probably will. Who knows, okay? Here's one where you see tons of her albums. An early feminist musician, and it was really almost because of that definition of her by the press that I would always just immediately not even be interested in her records. Holly Near, Hang In There. And sure enough, this is very political. It's about rallying people. It's about a voice needing to be, you know, raise a voice for consciousness for women and equal rights and just recognizing women as people. But it's on a small label, and I like the simplicity of the cover, and it's a nice listen, okay? Here's one where I once again knew I wasn't interested in this album, but now I got to play it. Steve Hunter, Swept Away. Session guitarist who came to prominence best, I think, for his solos on Lou Reed's live album. I forget who else he played with, but I got to see Steve Hunter play live on a solo tour. I saw him with a band called 1999 or 1994. They were the opening band who I kind of liked at the time. They've completely disappeared. He came out and played, and he was so high on heroin. He played well, but he drooled all night. He was so smacked up that there would be just times that while he's playing, all he could do was just lean forward and just let the drool just do this on the stage. It's kind of sad, you know. I got to see him play live, and this album is like I thought. It's like I would never want to spend good money on this album, but I'm glad I got to hear it. There's a couple things in here that are not bad, kind of interesting, you know. Steve Hunter, Swept Away. Let me show you some more, okay? So, okay, let me show you these. Another band that I'll make a social commentary about while enthusing about them. Another band that I always see in the dollar bins, and it's music of the highest quality, which again I say is a reflection of the cheapness of society. Maybe I'm overgeneralizing. I don't think so. This is what I see consistently in life. But another one of those bands that is undervalued, Renaissance. Now I bought 4 of their albums at this $5 bag thing, so I got these for 7 cents a piece. I have all but one of them already, but I couldn't leave them, you know, because this music is so good. Ashes Are Burning. This is not in the best of shape, but it's not bad, and so I'd like to find someone to share this. This is a beautiful, the title track, Ashes Are Burning. I wish I could play this music for you, damn it. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I could just play it for you. And Annie Haslam. Okay, again, another social commentary. She, because of her beautiful voice and her stature, deserved the acclaim that someone that Madonna got. See what I'm saying? Madonna, Annie Haslam. It says something about us as people, okay? This one I picked up, I already have it, Novella. Very good album, Midas Man. But the reason why I went ahead and got this, the cover is slightly trashed and the record is real beat. But this is a variation on the cover, which I always found interesting. Let me see if I can grab mine right quick. So when I bought it, when it first came out, this is the cover in America that I first saw. This is made in the USA too, but it's a completely different cover. I like this cover better, actually. So I went ahead and grabbed it because of that difference. Here, the next album is one that I kept thinking I already had. And I would see it a lot of times and just not get it because I thought I already had it. I didn't. So I got a brand new copy. This was still in shrink for 7 cents, and it's really good. It's still when they're good. As Renaissance went on, they became more commercial, chasing that dollar and chasing success, and consequently losing the essence of what made them great in the first place. I understand needing to try to make a dollar. Such a shame. But yeah, A Song for All Seasons. Happy to add this. And this, it's slightly beat. The record's in great shape. The cover is beat. But this fantastic album, Renaissance Prologue. Please, people, this is incredibly good. Oh, Lord, this is so good. Sounds of the Sea. Whew, this is fantastic. Couldn't leave this. So, like I said, the cover's slightly beat. But this is music that someone deserves to hear this good music, okay? This is good stuff. I couldn't leave it, okay? I see this video is almost a half hour long. I'm going to stop here. It's like, I'll show you some more records, folks, soon. Well, here's one more. For 7 cents, Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull's Walking to Light. This was made quite a while ago, but I'd never heard it. And it's good. I like Jethro Tull. It's also a white label promo, which I like. I like promos. It has to do with how I got started collecting in bulk when I visited a radio station as a young boy. And at the end of the they said, you want to go on a tour? I said, sure. And at the end of the tour, they said, well, we give away records at the end of the tours. They gave me a big box of free records. And so for a while, I got away with just going on tours, you know, several times to get free records. And then they told me, well, we can't keep doing this, you know. But that was where I got my original interest in promo copies. Okay. I could talk. The last thing I'll say is I got a comment recently on Facebook by someone who said to me, you know, he really appreciates my videos, my commentary, and said he wanted to show them. He said, I want to show my videos to my students. I don't know if he's a college professor or if he's a high school teacher, but I told him, well, go ahead, especially, like if he's a college professor. Of course, because I cuss sometimes, you don't want to encourage people to get all up in an uproar about exposing children, even though many of them cuss worse than I do. But that's a nice compliment, and I appreciate that. And I said, yeah, show it to him, Part of the reason why is because as I am here longer and more people are discovering me, I can tell by commentary that I'm dealing with being seen as almost like a caricature, like I get a lot of comments on older videos. Oh, this is so cool to see a bro listening to so and so. Oh, this is so cool, a brother who listens to German music. It's like, yeah, I'm here to educate people. It's like the person means it as a compliment, but it's not, because I'm a human being. I'm not a stereotype. I'm not a bro. I'm a human being. When I was a kid, growing up here in the Midwest, dealing with really shit racism, but understanding from the innocence of being born that I am human, I'm whole, I'm a human being, that there's something wrong with this message about me. I've just always fought against this, how people just accept the script of manufactured reality, that creates the divisions and the inequality between classes and races. I'm a human being. I'm not a bro. I'm not a black guy that listens to white music. I'm a human being that listens to good music. And people need to more people need this lesson that we're all the family of man. And so many concepts and ideas that we're taught are just bullshit, okay? I'm real. Okay.